Hi everybody, I'm Brittany Lewis with Forbes Breaking News. Joining me now is Mackay, founder and CEO of Daring. Ross, thanks for coming on.
Thank you. Really excited to be here.
We are right now backstage at the Under 30 Summit here in Cleveland. Before we get started, before we dive in, can you explain what Daring is?
Yeah, so Daring is a plant-based chicken company. Started in 2018 as a bit of an idea. We launched it in 2020 and it's been very exciting 3-4 years since then.
Let's talk about that beginning. Was this your idea the entire time, or did you have to pivot at any moment?
Oh, there's been a lot of pivots. I always say, one of the characteristics I think of being an entrepreneur is you have to be fast on your feet, nimble, pivot when things don't go your way. But yeah, I always had the ambition to launch a plant-based chicken company. I watched the success of other brands in the space, to focus on burgers, focus on taste, texture, more indulgent. I wanted to focus on health. I wanted to bring something healthier to the category, and hopefully I've done a good job of that.
There is a lot of competition in this space, as you know, I'm sure you're aware, because everyone wants to be healthier, have an alternative option. So how do you differentiate Daring, and how do you cut through that competition?
Yeah, we looked at why consumers were stepping into the category. 86% were focused on health. The rest were focused on more sustainability and of course animal welfare, which are great reasons, but health remained the number one decision. Why consumers would swap chicken for plant-based chicken. And I think what they were met with was ingredients and products that had a long list of ingredients. A lot of fat content, maybe lower protein content than the animal-derived protein. What we focused on at Daring is short and relatable ingredients. Our core product is 5 ingredients: protein, water, and a few spices. Everyone can understand that. We're 90 calories per serving, which is fewer than chicken. We're higher in protein. So I think when you're going after a category like protein, whether it's steak, chicken, fish, you have to deliver on taste, texture, but you also have to deliver on health. That's really important.
What do you think is the most important: taste, texture, or health?
Yeah, I think, early brands focused on taste. You could add in a bunch of ingredients to make something taste like. Texture was this moment where we all saw the news and the articles on the juiciness, the bleed-like effect. But all of those things came with a lot of those things came with the sacrifice of health. You had to add in a lot of ingredients to create those experiences. What we tried to do was strip everything back. Yes, hit taste, texture, but also health. And then I think price is also a really big factor. Price, chicken is a fairly cheap commodity. We have to drive towards that, but they all got to work in harmony. You can't have a really, really healthy product that doesn't taste good. You can't have a great product that tastes good and it's not healthy, because consumers care.
My little sister is vegan, so she has every plant-based product, and some don't taste as good as others. So describe the moment for me when you tasted it. You had that taste, you had that texture, you had that health, and you said, this is it, I have it.
Tastes like chicken. That was it. Honestly, I haven't eaten chicken in a long time, but I would give it to my father, my mother, my sisters, and they'd be like, that's great, it's just cooked, it's moist chicken. And I was like,
there you go.
Something's there. And chicken is the number one, consumed protein in the world. The way it cooks, the way it, holds different sauces. What is chicken really? Fundamentally, it's a flavor profile. You have your favorite chicken recipe, they have their favorite chicken recipe. I think with Daring, you can really do just about anything. Anything you can do with chicken, you can do with Daring. And it's a simple swap. There's really no sacrifice.
And where do you see the future of alternative meat going?
We're at the tip of the iceberg, honestly. It's a very small category. Chicken consumption is growing. Plant-based consumption is hopefully growing also, and will continue to do so, but there's a lot of work to do. There's a lot of innovation required. We've got to drive great brands, great products. We've got to get price down. I think we have to work together as a sort of plant-based somewhat team to bring that to the consumers. But I think hopefully any consumer that stepped out of the category in the last year or so can come back in, get met with products that deliver on all those things.
I want to now talk about your journey a little bit. You were a lister back in 2021, an under 30 lister. So describe to me, once you reach that success, how do you continue to be successful? Because you reached that. So how do you decide now what, then what?
Yeah, I think, it's great. It's great for sort of the vision board. You get to check that off. It's definitely something it's inspired. You to see those founders, see them on the Forbes website and think, wow, I want to be there one day. But ultimately, the only thing that really matters is you build a great company. Truthfully, there's a lot of great companies and founders that didn't make it here. And there's a lot of founders that made it here that didn't build great companies. Over the course of 5, 10, 15 years, you've got to build something that is sustainable long-term. And that's what I'm focused on. Obviously, I'm super excited to be here. I was super excited to be on the panel for the first time. Hopefully I'll come back again. But it's been just surrounding yourself with great team members, focusing on the mission, focusing on the importance of building a great, great company.
I want to talk about the traditional business playbook, if you will. What's one piece of advice that you would take from that traditional book, and one piece of advice you threw out and you kind of paved your own way?
I think I played a lot of sport growing up, and one thing that taught me was the importance of team. It goes without saying, surround yourself with great team members internally. If you have to go and raise capital, make sure those investors are also on your team. Once you can get the psychological backing and also the financial backing, this thing becomes really fun. And building a team has been some of the most enjoyable moments of running the business. I think, taking your time to some extent is true as well. But for us, we were never going to win on resources or people. We were going to win on speed. And I think entrepreneurs in the early days of business can really just run through walls. You can afford to make mistakes. There's not much risk, to play for. And I think that's something that, yes, it's been important to slow down now, look at the data, build a business, make sure we're structured, more organizational. But in the beginning, everyone's like, you got to slow down, you got to take a step back. I think you got to run at it. You got to run at the mission. You got to go for it.
Go full force ahead.
Be daring.
I love that, pun intended. We have 5,000 of the biggest movers and shakers, young entrepreneurs here in Cleveland right now. What's your advice to them when starting a business?
I think, I was plant-based a long time. It was at the core of everything I did, and I think understanding what makes you wake up in the morning and you want to go after it. There's going to be challenge, conflict, critique. There's going to be a lot of things that get in your way. A lot of people that say it's impossible. But I think when you really believe in something, when you really have a mission and it lights you up, no one should really get in your way. Just go after it, wake up in the morning and try and move the ball forward every day.
Go after it and be daring.
That's the one.
Ross Mackay, thank you so much for joining me.
Appreciate it. Thank you for having me.